there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Bit of an accuracy test here. Of course, it's windy as heck every time I try and do a video. So here I've just got some 40 Smith and Wessons. We'll start with those. We're gonna move to some different 10 millimeters, some lighter loads, some medium loads, and then some super hot loads, and see how the gun shoots it, see how our accuracy is here. So I'm just gonna load up 2 clips of these 40 Smith and Wesson 165 grains. We're gonna shoot at the left target there. It is out at 10 yards exactly, and we'll see what our grouping looks like. These are such a heavy-duty moon clip that this gun comes with. I mean, it holds the shells great, but sometimes they're a fiasco to clip in and then get out of there. Some people use like a spent 308 shell or something like that to help get them out of the moon clip. I just use my fingers. I don't think it's any impossible task, anything like that. Seems to be working all right. Maybe I'll change my mind down the road, but here we go. So 10 yards, 40 Smith and Wesson. And I'm gonna shoot these 2 clips in single action here, so that'll help us be a little bit more accurate. I think that was our last one. Yep. All right, we'll put one more clip in that same target here. God, it is so windy. Our target is just moving all over the place here. It's not an excuse though. I'm not using that as an excuse. See how they look. All right, so then at 10 yards, here's our grouping here. So we had a couple low ones, but most of these, I mean, this is about an inch or just over that there. And then from these two is maybe 2 inches there. So actually pretty accurate just in our single action using the 40 Smith and Wesson. So for our target on the right here, I think we're gonna do 40 Smith and Wesson again, and I'm gonna take 2 clips, so 12 shots, and then we're just gonna do double action for all of those and see if we notice a difference between the double action and the single action. And the double action is significantly a stronger trigger pull here, so we'll see how I do. All right, so 10 yards, all the shots will be in double action, and 40 Smith and Wesson 165 grains. more clip. See how they look. All right, so looking at our single action here versus the double action, we are definitely more all over the board in our double action there. It's just a really long trigger pull. You know, it's a really long reach for my fingers, and I don't even have small hands, anything like that. But yeah, we are significantly more accurate in the single action than the double action, which is to be expected. I think everybody would agree on that, but we're still putting all the shots on the money. So I think now we're gonna try some 10mm loads here. All right, so now we're gonna try our 10mm rounds. So for these, I'll just use these handgun lines. They're 170 grain. They're flying at about 1115 feet per second. So a little bit hotter than our 40s were. I think those were flying at about upper nines, 995 for the 165 grain. So I've got 2 more targets set up. We're gonna do 12 shots on the one on the left, single action, 12 shots on the one on the right, double action. And I'm just gonna slow down a little bit and get a little bit more accurate. I've really been popping off rounds and not been so accurate, so we're just gonna take our time here, see how we do with these 10mm rounds. All right, 12 shots, single action. Taking our time. Do 6 more. This big old end frame just soaks up those 10mm rounds so well. You know, in like a Glock 20 or something like that, 10 mil is a pretty hot round and you definitely feel it. It's very snappy, a lot of felt recoil. In this big old revolver, it is just nothing. It's so comfortable, I love it. Single action, 6 more. All right, so now we'll do the target on the right here, all in double action. We'll do 12 shots here. And the way that I'm pulling that trigger, I'm just kind of lining up my sights and then I'm just pulling straight through. I'm not babying it real slow to simulate almost a single action. I'm just lining it up, pulling straight through so we can kind of get an accurate idea of what that double action trigger is like and how accurate it is. Double action, 6 shots. Apparently I didn't have my camera on record for the last 6 shots, so that was awesome. But anyway, so we've got 12 shots on each target here. So these were our 12 in single action. When we slowed down just a little bit here, took our time a little bit more, so they're all pretty much within 2 inches of each other is kind of the furthest point there. So 10 yards, 2-inch grouping in single action. And then when we move over to the double action here, we're about at a 4-inch grouping here. So, and I was kind of taking my time on both of these, but with that stronger trigger pull in double action, when I was just pulling straight through, not babying it, you know, we were just a little bit more inaccurate there. So it looks like double action was about double the grouping there. So, but the single action's very nice. You know, you can definitely be fairly accurate with this gun in single action here. So and then when we were shooting our 40 Smith and Wessons here, the 165 grain, flying at about 990 feet per second, those versus our 10 millimeters here, which were 170 grain, flying at about 1100 feet per second. I just didn't really notice a difference as far as felt recoil between those two. Like, this Revolver is just so huge and heavy. I just didn't notice a difference in the recoil there. So I had a friend who loaded me up some hand loads here. So these are 180 grain and they're flying at about 1200 feet per second, so they're going to be a little bit hotter than our 10 millimeter rounds that we were shooting, the 170 grains at 1100 feet per second. So we're going to shoot 6 of these and see if we can notice that they're a little bit hotter, see if there's any more felt recoil. All right, 180 grain, 1200 feet per second. Let's see how they feel. A little bit hotter. I can definitely tell a difference. Could slightly tell a difference. They were a little bit hotter than our other 10 mils and our 40 Smith and Wesson. So slight difference, but hardly noticeable. All right, so now our final test here. That same buddy had loaded me up these 6 others. So these are gonna be 200 grain bullets, and they are as hot as they could be loaded. There could be not another speck of powder fit in those cases. So according to the book, these are flying at just over 1500 feet per second. So 200 grains, 1500 feet per second. This is your classic bear defense load here. This is as hot as the 10 millimeter can get. So we're gonna shoot these through and see if there's a noticeable difference here. I have a feeling that there will be. I'm actually a little bit scared here. I don't really know what to expect. He gave me the fair warning when he gave me these, so we'll see what a full-fledged bear defense load feels like. Oh my gosh. Oh man. It was a little bit noticeable that they were a hotter load, but I mean, that end frame, this huge Revolver, soaks up everything so well. There was not anything painful or snappy about that. I mean, you guys saw it. The muzzle, the barrel rises just a little bit there, but as far as felt recoil, it really just felt the same as the rest. I mean, truth be told. So this might be the best platform to shoot super hot 10 millimeter rounds out of. I mean, that was just more fun than anything. So I love this Revolver. Well guys, that's probably gonna wrap up the video. I am absolutely in love with this Smith and Wesson 610. You know, if you want a super unique revolver, a very niche revolver, or if you just want a very unique niche 10 millimeter, I think you have both of those with this Revolver, with this 610 right here. I'm so happy I found one. You know, I think it's way cooler to have than say a GP100 or a 686 or even a Colt Python, you know. These are just very sought after, they're very rare, and it is just a joy to shoot. I cannot think of a better platform to shoot hot 10mm rounds out of. This thing just eats them, it soaks them up, it's not snappy, it's not painful. This might be my most favorite gun that I own now. Smith & Wesson 610, 5 stars, absolutely, for sure, every day out of the week. So like the video if this helped you out, subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, have a great night, guys.